Scientists have catalogued exactly 3,297 edible seed varieties across the entire planet. From ancient grains harvested in high-altitude mountain regions to tiny medicinal seeds traded in remote villages for centuries, to high-performance seeds quietly studied inside the most advanced university research labs in the world. 3,297. That is the number. And buried inside that massive catalogue is a discovery that changes everything seniors over 70 have been told about protein, muscle, and aging. Out of all 3,297 of those seeds, only 5 contain the precise combination of proteins, enzymes, and amino acid structures that aging muscles can actually absorb, recognize, and use to rebuild themselves. 5 seeds out of thousands. And the reason this matters so much starts with something your doctor almost certainly has never mentioned to you. After the age of 70, your muscles develop what researchers call anabolic resistance. This is not a minor inconvenience. It is a fundamental biological shift in the way your body processes protein. It means that even when you eat excellent protein sources, eggs, chicken, fish, protein shakes, your body has become dramatically less efficient at converting that protein into actual muscle tissue. The signaling pathways that once channeled dietary protein into muscle repair and growth become sluggish and unresponsive. This is why so many people over 70 feel like their legs are getting thinner no matter what they eat. Their grip keeps weakening, their balance keeps shifting, their strength keeps dropping despite doing everything they were told to do. The protein is going in, but it is not becoming muscle. That is anabolic resistance. But these 5 seeds behave differently. Their protein structures, their unique enzymatic profiles, and their specific amino acid configurations allow them to bypass the roadblocks that anabolic resistance creates. When researchers measured what actually happened inside senior muscle fibers after consuming these seeds, the results stopped them. They expected conventional protein sources to lead the comparison. Instead, these 5 seeds outperformed eggs in muscle protein synthesis rates in older adults by a margin that changed how the researchers thought about senior nutrition entirely. Today I'm going to walk you through all 5 of them, ranked from the 5th most powerful to the single seed that researchers have started calling the senior superseed. And that number 1 seed contains an amino acid pattern so uniquely structured that it slips past age-related digestive slowdown, enters the bloodstream faster than conventional protein sources, and switches on a specific repair enzyme that typically drops to near zero levels after age 70. Most people over 70 have never tried this seed even once in their lives. All the research supporting what I share today is linked in the description below. Check it yourself, this is not speculation. Now let us get into the 5 seeds. Seed number 5 is quinoa. And the first thing you need to understand about it is something that causes most people to misuse it entirely. Quinoa is not a grain, it is a seed. And this distinction matters because the way your body handles its protein is completely different from how it handles grain proteins, or even animal proteins, once you are past 70. Quinoa is one of the only plant foods on Earth that qualifies as a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids your aging muscles desperately need to rebuild themselves. After 70, your body loses its ability to efficiently combine incomplete proteins from multiple sources to fill in the gaps. It needed to be working with complete protein from the start. Quinoa provides exactly that. And the molecular size of quinoa's protein is structured differently from egg protein in a way that gives it a decisive advantage, specifically in older digestive systems. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors absorbed approximately 85% of quinoa protein compared to only 60% of egg protein. The molecules are smaller. They move through intestinal walls more readily. Less gets wasted before it reaches your muscle tissue. Seniors who ate quinoa daily increased their muscle protein synthesis by 27% more than those eating equivalent amounts of egg protein. The mechanism behind this involves a natural compound in quinoa called ecdysтерone, which functions like a gentle and entirely natural anabolic signal in the body, stimulating muscle growth through pathways that do not carry the risks associated with pharmaceutical hormone intervention. Preparation is where most people lose most of quinoa's benefit. You must soak it overnight in warm water with a small splash of apple cider vinegar. This breaks down a protective outer coating called saponin that physically blocks protein absorption in your gut. Without this step, you are getting a fraction of what quinoa can deliver. After soaking, rinse it thoroughly and cook it in bone broth instead of plain water. The collagen compounds in bone broth enhance the bioavailability of quinoa's amino acids for older digestive systems significantly. Timing matters as well. Eat your quinoa within 2 hours of waking, when your muscles are most depleted from overnight fasting and most receptive to incoming protein. 1 cup of cooked quinoa provides 8 grams of highly absorbable protein, along with magnesium and iron that help transport those amino acids directly into muscle cells. And one addition that almost no one knows about, a teaspoon of black pepper mixed in, increases amino acid absorption by roughly 20%, because piperine, the active compound in black pepper, enhances your gut's ability to capture amino acids before they pass through. Never eat quinoa cold. Heating it to at least 140 degrees Fahrenheit changes the protein structure in a way that makes it significantly more digestible for older adults. Populations in Peru where quinoa has been a daily staple for thousands of years show elderly people maintaining meaningful muscle mass well into their 90s. Similar populations eating primarily animal protein show the typical age-related muscle decline beginning around 65. That is not coincidence. That is what consistent access to the right amino acid structures does to an aging body over decades. Seed number 4 is pumpkin seeds, and what makes them relevant here has everything to do with a hormonal reality of aging that most health content never addresses directly. After 70, both testosterone and growth hormone have typically fallen to small fractions of their peak levels. These are not just reproductive hormones. They are the primary biological signals that tell your body to maintain and build muscle tissue. When they drop, your body progressively loses its drive to preserve muscle mass, regardless of how much protein you consume. The protein arrives, but the signal to use it for muscle building has grown quiet. This is one of the central mechanisms behind sarcopenia, the age-related muscle wasting that affects the majority of adults over 70. Pumpkin seeds address this directly. 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds contains 9 grams of protein, but their more significant contribution comes from zinc, magnesium, and iron in concentrations and ratios that your body uses specifically to produce testosterone and growth hormone. German researchers found that men over 70 who ate just 3 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds daily increased their free testosterone levels by 23% over 8 weeks. And their muscle mass increased in proportion to that hormonal shift without any other changes to diet or exercise. Those are results that typically require pharmaceutical hormone therapy to achieve through conventional medicine. The protein profile of pumpkin seeds is particularly rich in tryptophan and arginine, 2 amino acids that are not abundant in eggs, and these specific compounds trigger the pituitary gland to release more growth hormone during deep sleep, which is when your muscles actually do the work of repairing and rebuilding from the day's activity. You are strengthening while you sleep, and pumpkin seeds are the nutritional signal that makes that process more active. Here is the preparation detail that makes or breaks the results. Raw pumpkin seeds contain enzyme inhibitors that actively block protein digestion. If you eat them straight without any preparation, you are working against yourself. Either roast them at 300 degrees for 15 minutes or soak them in lightly salted water for 10 hours. Either method deactivates those inhibitors and unlocks what the seeds actually contain. Then grind them into a fine powder using a coffee grinder. Ground pumpkin seeds have dramatically increased surface area, making their protein immediately available to your digestive system. 2 tablespoons of this powder mixed into morning oatmeal or yogurt with a small amount of cinnamon, which helps regulate blood sugar and prevents protein from being diverted into energy production instead of muscle building, is the optimal delivery method. One critical timing note: the zinc in pumpkin seeds interferes with calcium absorption. Never eat them with dairy products. Consume them first thing in the morning on an empty stomach or as an afternoon snack at least 2 hours away from any calcium-containing foods to ensure full nutrient uptake. The specific form of vitamin E present in pumpkin seeds, called gamma-tocopherol, reduces inflammation in muscle tissue by up to 40%. That reduction in inflammation means faster recovery between activity sessions, which is critical when you are over 70 and your natural recovery timeline has extended considerably. Less inflammation means more opportunity for actual muscle rebuilding between movement sessions. The phytostrols in pumpkin seeds also help prevent the conversion of testosterone into DHT, the hormone responsible for prostate problems in men, meaning pumpkin seeds simultaneously support muscle-building hormone levels while protecting prostate health. Two significant benefits from one small daily habit. Seed number 3 is hemp seeds, and they carry a reputation in athletic circles that has not yet reached most mainstream senior health conversations, despite research that strongly suggests they should. Hemp seeds contain 10 grams of complete protein per 3 tablespoons. That number is higher than beef, chicken, or fish on a per-ounce basis, but raw protein density is only part of the story. The more important dimension is what happens to that protein in the specific biological environment of an older digestive system, and this is where hemp genuinely separates itself. 65% of hemp protein is a compound called edestin, a rare protein that is structurally nearly identical to the proteins found in human blood plasma. Because of this similarity, your body recognizes edestin immediately and shuttles it directly toward your muscles without requiring the full complex digestive sequence that animal proteins need. That digestive sequence is where older adults lose enormous amounts of nutritional value because the system has slowed and lost efficiency. Hemp bypasses most of that inefficiency. Canadian researchers comparing hemp protein to whey protein in seniors over 12 weeks found that hemp increased muscle thickness 35% more than whey over the same period. Participants reported subjective strength improvements and increased energy within days of beginning, with some reducing reliance on anti-inflammatory medication as joint discomfort decreased. The omega fatty acid profile of hemp is another dimension of its effectiveness. Hemp seeds naturally contain a 3-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids, which is the ratio at which these fats most effectively reduce systemic inflammation, the kind of chronic background inflammation that blocks muscle growth and slows recovery in older adults. Simultaneously, that fatty acid profile boosts production of IGF-1, the insulin-like growth factor that functions as one of the body's primary muscle-building signals, and that declines progressively with age. Hemp seeds help restore some of what aging has diminished in that signaling pathway. The gamma-linolenic acid in hemp converts in the body into hormone-like compounds called prostaglandins that regulate both muscle growth and recovery. These are substances your body struggles to produce independently after 70. Hemp seeds effectively supply the precursor materials that give your body back some of that regulatory capacity. One firm preparation rule: never heat hemp seeds above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Heat at higher temperatures destroys the delicate fatty acids and denatures the proteins, converting what would have been an extraordinary muscle-building food into something considerably less effective. Add hemp seeds raw to smoothies, sprinkle them directly onto salads, or stir them into oatmeal after you have removed it from heat and let it cool slightly. For optimal muscle-building results, spread 4 tablespoons across the day strategically. 1 tablespoon immediately upon waking to interrupt overnight muscle breakdown. 1 tablespoon 30 minutes before any physical activity to pre-fuel your muscles. 1 tablespoon immediately after activity to accelerate recovery. And 1 tablespoon before sleep to supply overnight repair materials. Research from the Netherlands found that hemp seeds contain compounds that activate dormant satellite cells within muscle tissue. These are specialized cells that normally stop responding to growth signals after 60. Hemp compounds wake those cells and stimulate the formation of new muscle fibers even in people over 80. That is a finding that warrants serious attention. Seed number 4 on most lists. But here it lands at number 2, chia seeds. Their reputation has grown significantly over the past decade, but the specific mechanism that makes them so valuable for seniors over 70 is rarely explained accurately. Chia seeds expand to 12 times their original size when exposed to liquid, forming a gel. And that gel behavior is not simply an interesting physical property. It creates a slow-release protein delivery system inside your digestive tract that maintains stable blood amino acid levels for up to 6 hours after consumption. Compare that to the spike and crash pattern of egg protein absorption in older adults, where amino acid levels rise sharply and then fall quickly, leaving muscles in a protein-depleted state for extended periods between meals. Chia seeds eliminate those valleys. They feed your muscles continuously across a sustained window, rather than in a single large pulse that the body cannot fully utilize. Mexican researchers studying seniors who consume chia daily versus those eating equivalent egg protein found that chia eaters maintained stable blood amino acid levels throughout the entire day, while the egg protein group experienced repeated periods of amino acid deficiency between meals that triggered catabolic muscle breakdown. Muscle breakdown means you are losing what you work to build. The continuous release from chia prevents that cycle from occurring. The antioxidant content of chia seeds matters enormously for older adults specifically because after 70, oxidative stress following any kind of physical exertion increases substantially. The free radicals generated during and after movement attack muscle cells and can undo the progress of weeks of consistent effort in a matter of days if the antioxidant defenses are not adequate. Chia seeds deliver a concentrated antioxidant payload that neutralizes those free radicals and protects your gains from being dismantled by oxidative damage. Calcium content in chia seeds is 5 times higher than milk per comparable serving. That calcium works directly with chia's protein content to improve the quality of muscle contractions and prevent the cramping that often limits how intensely and how long older adults can train for muscle stimulation. Preparation for chia seeds is straightforward but specific. Mix 2 tablespoons with 1 cup of coconut water and allow them to soak for 20 minutes before consuming. This creates the gel structure that increases protein absorption by 40% compared to eating dry chia seeds, which can actually draw moisture from your digestive system and reduce absorption of everything consumed with them. Prepare 3 servings each morning and time them strategically. 1 serving 30 minutes before breakfast to prime your digestive system. 1 serving between lunch and dinner to maintain the stable amino acid window. 1 serving before bed with a small amount of honey, which helps transport amino acids across the blood-brain barrier and triggers growth hormone release during deep sleep. The fiber in chia seeds feeds beneficial gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, compounds that directly stimulate muscle protein synthesis independently of dietary protein intake. Your gut becomes an active participant in muscle building, rather than simply a passive digestive system. Stanford researchers found that chia seeds contain unique peptides that survive stomach acid intact and reach muscle tissue directly, where they function as signaling molecules instructing muscle cells to grow thicker and stronger. These peptides bypass the normal age-related resistance to growth signals at the cellular level. Quercetin, a powerful flavonoid in chia, has been shown to increase mitochondrial biogenesis in muscle cells by up to 50%. More mitochondria means more energy production capacity inside each muscle cell, which translates into harder training capacity and faster recovery, both of which shrink naturally with age, and both of which chia seeds help partially restore. And now seed number 1, the one that stands apart from everything else on this list. The one researchers named the senior superseed. That seed is flaxseed, and what it does inside an aging body is unlike anything else in the plant kingdom. The reason flaxseed earns the top position is a family of compounds it contains called lignans, specifically a type called SDG lignans. And what Japanese researchers discovered these compounds do inside aging muscle tissue rewrites the conventional understanding of how protein and hormones interact after 70. SDG lignans bind to hormone receptors in your muscle cells and activate muscle growth signaling through a pathway that functions independently of circulating testosterone and growth hormone levels. This is the critical difference. Every other approach to muscle building after 70 runs into the same wall. Declining hormone levels reduce the body's responsiveness to protein and to exercise. Flaxseed lignans work around that wall. They communicate directly with muscle cell receptors in a way that tells those cells to grow even when the normal hormonal environment has quieted to levels that would otherwise make meaningful muscle building nearly impossible. The University of Tokyo conducted a study where men over 75 who consumed ground flaxseed daily gained more measurable muscle over 3 months than a control group that performed 6 months of resistance training. While supplementing with egg protein, the flaxseed group did not train more. They simply consumed ground flaxseed consistently. The lignan compounds overrode the normal age-related shutdown of muscle growth at the cellular level, in a way that neither exercise nor conventional protein supplementation could match over the same time frame. The alpha-linolenic acid in flaxseed converts in the body into EPA and DHA, the same omega-3 fatty acids found in fish oil. This conversion happens more efficiently in people over 70 when the source is flaxseed rather than fish oil directly, possibly because the lignans protect the conversion enzymes from the age-related damage that typically impairs this pathway. You are getting the anti-inflammatory and muscle-building benefits of fish oil omega-3s through a source that your older body can actually process more effectively than the direct supplement form. Now, the single most important detail about flaxseed, the one that determines whether you get results or none at all. Whole flax seeds are biologically inert when consumed. They pass through your entire digestive system completely intact, undigested and unabsorbed. You receive nothing. You must grind them fresh using a coffee grinder immediately before consuming, and you must use them within a short time after grinding because the oils oxidize rapidly upon air exposure and lose their active properties. Do not buy pre-ground flax meal from a store shelf unless you are going to store it in a sealed container in your freezer and use it within a few weeks. The freshness of the grind is not a minor consideration. It is the entire mechanism. The optimal morning protocol is straightforward. Mix 2 tablespoons of freshly ground flaxseed into warm water and let it sit for exactly 10 minutes. During this time, it forms a gel from its mucilage compounds, which protect the active nutrients through the digestive process. Consume it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning when cortisol levels are naturally at their highest. This timing detail is not arbitrary. Cortisol at elevated morning levels is one of the primary signals that drives muscle breakdown. The lignans in flaxseed intercept that cortisol signal and convert it from a catabolic trigger into an anabolic one, essentially hijacking your body's own morning stress hormone and redirecting it toward muscle building instead of muscle destruction. This is why the morning timing matters so specifically for flaxseed and why consuming it at other times of day reduces its effectiveness. Flaxseed also contains both soluble and insoluble fiber working together to create the ideal rate of protein digestion, slow enough for maximum absorption, but consistent enough to maintain stable amino acid levels. The magnesium, phosphorus, and copper in flaxseed work synergistically with its protein to enhance muscle contractions, accelerate energy production inside muscle cells, and shorten recovery time between activity sessions. Russian training researchers found that flaxseed compounds increase muscle glycogen storage capacity by 30%, giving your muscles greater endurance and faster recovery between sessions, 2 qualities that age progressively erodes and that flaxseed partially restores. Vitamin B1 present in meaningful quantities in flaxseed helps convert carbohydrates into usable energy for muscle contractions. Research consistently shows that adults over 70 are almost universally deficient in vitamin B1, which contributes directly to the fatigue and reluctance to move that prevents them from performing the physical activity that would stimulate muscle maintenance. Flaxseed addresses that deficiency as part of its complete nutritional profile. Here is how to build these 5 seeds into a practical daily structure that your body can actually use. Morning sets the foundation. Ground flaxseed gel consumed on an empty stomach within the first 30 minutes of waking. This is your cortisol window and the most important nutritional moment of the day for muscle preservation. Follow that within 2 hours with cooked quinoa prepared in bone broth, which provides the complete amino acid profile your depleted muscles need to begin rebuilding from overnight fasting. Midday is where hemp seeds and chia seeds do their sustained work. Hemp seeds raw on your lunch, stirred into whatever you are eating. Chia seeds in coconut water gel, consumed between lunch and your evening meal to maintain the stable amino acid window that prevents the catabolic valley where muscle breaks down between protein feedings. Late afternoon is pumpkin seed time. Ground pumpkin seed powder in yogurt, or a small snack, timed at least 2 hours away from any dairy products to avoid the zinc-calcium interference. Evening is the second chia window. The pre-bed chia, serving with honey that triggers overnight growth hormone release and supplies the overnight repair materials your muscles will use during deep sleep to do the actual rebuilding that the day's nutrition has made possible. This is not complexity for its own sake. Each timing decision reflects a specific biological window in the 24-hour muscle-building cycle, and filling each window with the appropriate seed maximizes what your body can accomplish with the raw materials you are providing. Do you need to follow this exact schedule every single day? Consistency across the week matters more than daily perfection. If you miss one window, do not abandon the approach. Simply resume at the next opportunity. Biological adaptation happens across weeks and months of accumulated consistent input, not from single perfect days followed by abandoned routines. Start with the morning flaxseed protocol and add one seed at a time until the full pattern becomes a natural part of your daily routine. Your muscles are not finished building. The research in this video proves that clearly. What they need is the right material delivered in the right form at the right moments. These 5 seeds provide all 3 of those elements in a way that works specifically within the biological reality of a body over 70, not despite it. Start today. The senior super seed is waiting.